today's Tuesday Art Chat, we're going to have a talk about sort of staying motivated without deadlines or pressure, essentially. So pretty much this is kind of geared towards hobby artists, I suppose, just starting out. It could also work for those. There's parts of it that could work for those that are more experienced or are more further progressed in their art journey. But the main thing is, I feel like when you're creating art, sometimes you need that deadline to be able to create it, so to keep us motivated. Sometimes I know myself, I work on deadlines a lot, so but I know as a hobby artist, or you're just a beginner, you might not have deadlines because you're just creating for yourself. Okay, so sometimes staying motivated when you don't have that pressure, that can sometimes be a bit tricky. So that was what I was wanting to chat about today. Hi, Karen, as well. All right. Okay, I didn't bring a glass of water again. All right. So let me just check Instagram one more time. No, it is not going to work for me. Okay. All right, let's get on with it. We won't worry about, sorry, all those over on Instagram. Okay, so like I said, we're talking, hi Julie as well. Hold on. We're talking about staying motivated without deadlines. Okay, so I suppose for me, I do work a lot with deadlines, mainly with my online membership, the Creative Barn. Every month I produce a new tutorial, so I have to make sure I have that tutorial finished, ready for the start of the month. So that is a deadline, and it's been brilliant for me because I can get sidetracked very easily. We all do it, I think. Sometimes we clean, sometimes we rearrange things, just spend hours maybe on Reels or TikTok or something. We're very good at procrastinating, us artists, I think. So I kind of need a deadline to work. But I think before I had the membership, the deadlines not deadlines, but the motivation to create, you have to start, get into that yourself. So I suppose one of the big things would be to make sure you're painting what you love, and that's going to keep you motivated, of course. Oh, morning, Marianne, as well. So let me know, I get sidetracked a lot. Let me know in the chat what gets in the way of your motivation. So are there things that stop you getting motivated? So sometimes, without that structure and the accountability, then we can go off and do other things, or we put other things first, I think, a lot of times as well. You could maybe have a lot of unfinished paintings that could maybe kill your motivation when you sort of look around and think, oh my God, where do I even start? Because I've got so many unfinished ones lying around. And then, of course, another way that kills your motivation is when you start comparing, or you might not think you're good enough. Your perfectionism comes in. There's many ways that our motivation sort of takes the dive, doesn't it, sometimes? And also I feel like sometimes there's pressure that you have to be productive to be like a worthy artist, more or less. You've got to be producing work all the time. And I think if you understand how or why your motivation is dipping, then you can figure out ways to work around it. Okay, so this all comes down under this heading of getting your art done without a deadline, because like I said, without those deadlines, we really need to inspire ourselves and motivate ourselves. So first we need to figure out why our motivation is dropping, and why we're sort of not getting the art done that we want to get done. So I suppose you could set creative dates with yourself. So I've said this before, we quite often will put all other appointments above our own creative time. So I think a good idea is to set a creative date, and that's your weekly art time. And it's just like a doctor's appointment. You're not going to change it. You're going to show up for it. Or if you're going to get your car serviced, that's an appointment you're going to show up for. So I think you need to go through a calendar and work out a creative date as well that you'll set your time for. What's Marianne got? A negative comment from another artist about your work can really knock your motivation and confidence. 100%. That is one, and it can stop you in your tracks. I know it happens to a few people. You're not asking for a comment, but you get it. And I kind of had that happen to me with hold on, sorry. I'm just going to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. I was showing my work to a gallery owner, and he more or less, he didn't really knock my work as such, but he told me I needed to stop painting in pastel and change my medium. And that really did deflate me a little bit. I was so nervous getting him to look at my work. And then when he sort of just came out with, he didn't comment on my work at all. He just more or less said, you need to change mediums, and it wasn't anything to do with my work. He just doesn't like pastels in his gallery because they have to be behind glass. And so he said, more or less said, if you want to get in any gallery, you need to change your medium. And I went, oh, okay. And it did deflate me. But in the end, I just thought, well, bugger you. I love pastels, so I thought, well, I'll just keep painting in pastel, and I just won't approach those galleries. So, but I definitely understand that 100%. Yeah, Di, how rude to suggest changing mediums. I know, I was really taken back by it. Hi, Shona, as well. So definitely, Marianne, that's a good one. That can be a reason why your motivation has dipped. So I suppose for that one, you need to surround yourself with positive people, share your work with other groups and communities that will lift you up instead of taking down. But also maybe, I suppose, look at that negative, like dissect the negative comment and figure out, was it just said because they were being nasty or whatever, or was it said in a constructive way that you could maybe learn from it? Maybe there is something you could take from that. I'm not sure what the comment was, but maybe it was something that you could look at your painting with fresh eyes and go, oh, okay, maybe I should change that a little bit, or something. I'm not sure, like I said, what the comment is. So, but sometimes we instantly take it offensively or to heart, where maybe we could dissect it and just go, is there any truth to it, maybe, and take it on like that. But then it could just be someone just being not nice. So that's when I would share the art in a different group, a more positive group, and see if you get a lot of people saying it's no good or whatever, then maybe you do need to look at it and change it up. But Odette, we have Australian 30 artists frames in pastel. Oh, okay. So yeah, Odette is saying that not everyone was like the gallery owner that I talked to. They have bought 30 pastel paintings in frames. Yeah, I think it was just he doesn't like the reflection on the glass. So I suppose if you had the high view, like that anti-reflection glass, then maybe he would. But it was just kind of annoying that he didn't even it's like he just wasn't interested at all. He didn't sort of say anything about the piece or anything. It was just change of medium because, yeah, I wouldn't hang it anything in frames. Okay, fine. And I'd been waiting for ages to, like, we were all having a turn to talk to him. But anyway, so I was very deflated. Suzanne, your friends and I had to all leave a group because our teacher turned very toxic, including painting over your paintings. Oh no, that's terrible. I've destroyed 2 of my friends' enjoyment. Yeah, that's some people just are a bit abrupt and a bit aggressive maybe in their teaching ways. Yeah, definitely to paint over. I know you're there to learn, but yeah, that's a bit rough. And you probably will never go back to that teacher because of that. There's ways she could have demonstrated without like painting over your work. So yeah, that's a bit rough. And again, it's something that it will kill your motivation as well, because like you said, your friends didn't enjoy it and they probably won't want to do another workshop, or it might have put them off. So there are a lot of ways that our motivation takes a big dip, doesn't it? Once I had time to process the comment, it actually made me more determined to keep going. In the end, it turned into a positive. Well done. That's it. Yeah, I think that's what happened with me too. I was so like, oh, and it made me think, oh, I'm not gonna. Maybe I shouldn't bother. But then after you sort of process and think about it, yeah, you can take take maybe something positive about it, or change your direction. Maybe with me, I just changed my direction essentially. I just decided I would never put work in that gallery. So yeah, so I think definitely understanding the why, like why your motivation is dipping. And again, this is all because we don't have a deadline, is what I'm talking about here. So yeah, we have to motivate ourselves. So yeah, so we're setting creative dates, and then maybe do small 20-minute art sessions as well. Sometimes I think if I'm starting a big painting, it's quite overwhelming because it's big, like, and but that's why I always break everything down into little chunks. So I'll have a to-do list. I like lists and I can tick things off. But I'll go, all right. So say for the latest tutorial in the membership, we're going to do a whale. It's whale month next month, and I'm doing a large painting. But I break that down and go, right, I'm going to do transfer the line art and do the background today. And then another chunk of time. So that would be about half an hour. Like I did the sky. I knew the sky wouldn't take long. Then I had to do the ocean, which that was another section that took about an hour or so. And then next is I've got the whale to do. So I then chunk that into, I'm blocking in the whale. And then I'm going to do his fins, and then I'm going to probably finish him off. So I break it all down into those small chunks. And then, if usually it's getting started is the problem. Once you start, then you'll keep going. So even though I've broken that down, I know that section of the painting is only going to take me half an hour to an hour. If I'm having fun and the time's going to go, and I'll just keep going with it. And I think, was it you, Odette, that you said you were only going to do something and then I think it was, yeah. You were starting something and you were only going to spend a few minutes, and then 3 hours later, you'd finish the whole thing. And so, yeah, just getting that start. All right, Di, this is a good one. Di's a teacher. Was first rule of teaching, hands off unless you ask to help. So, yeah, there you go, Suzanne. I agree. I would never. And also, who else? Kath. I would never draw over anyone's work. I taught kids, and often they would ask to draw it. I would demonstrate on another piece of paper. That is not teaching in my perspective. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I have to, when I have my art classes in person, I find I need to start taking a piece of paper around with me to do exactly that, because I have one student in particular, and he's most of my students are adults, but I have a young student, and he loves for me to demonstrate on his piece, and I kind of feel he's trying to get me to draw it for him sometimes. So I need to do that. Yeah, she destroyed a lovely. Suzanne said she just took over. She destroyed a lovely group we'd had since COVID. Oh no, that's so bad. Yeah. All right. But yeah, it just goes to show, just one negative sort of experience can really, really snowball, can't it? And that's another thing I find as well. Like when I said before that sometimes a motivational dip will be if you're feeling you're not worthy, like you're not as good as the others. And you can never compare with others, because you don't know how long they've been drawing for, or how much time they spend. But yeah, I find if I have too many brilliant artists on my feed, on my social media, I start to get, oh my God, that, like, but now I suppose I'm inspired by them, because I know that they've obviously put in the work. But I think when you're first starting out, if you've got too many amazing artworks coming up all the time, you start to think, when are you ever going to get to that level? But so that's why you should always be friends with all different artists on different levels, and you can sort of slot yourself in there at where you're at. And you can still be inspired by the ones that you feel are better than you, but you can also probably inspire people that are just starting if you're further along as well. Yeah. Marianne says, when people are a bit funny, yeah, sometimes you wonder if it's a bit of jealousy. It could be. Is 8 hours too much? No, not at all. If you can do 8 hours, go for it. Jean says, comparison destroys any confidence that is developing. 100% it does. That's it. You're starting to build your confidence, and then the minute you start comparing, you can really, really destroy that. So yeah, don't do that. All right. So we've set our creative date. Where in our calendar each week we're doing little sections, so 20 minutes at a time. That's why I love pastel, because you can do that, because you're not spending 20 minutes setting up or cleaning up. You can just do 20 minutes on your drawing. And then even if you want to set yourself a timer, but I probably wouldn't, there's a Pomodoro timers. They're like 20-minute chunks, and then it gives you a break, and then you go again or something. But I probably wouldn't want to restrict yourself with a timer, because sometimes, like I said, you'll go, all right, I've got this 20 minutes, but once you get started, you might want to extend that. So if you've got a timer buzzing at you, that's probably not a good idea. All right. So we need to be inspired, of course, if we're creating for ourselves. So an inspiration folder. I have some of these I have reference image folders, that ones I've taken myself that I really want to paint later, or if I'm browsing a copyright-free site like Pixabay or one of those, I've got a folder that but make sure if you're saving off the net, so if it's Pixabay, make sure you're putting it in a folder for Pixabay so you know they're copyright free, and you could even label it with the photographer's name. The same goes if it's a Facebook free reference image. Have a separate folder and call it that. And also when you save the image, put the photographer's name, so that when you do finally go to use it, you can thank the photographer, or if you want to enter it into a competition, you can contact the photographer because you know where you got it from, and you can ask for direct permission for them to enter a competition with it. Okay, so an inspiration folder for your photos. I also have an inspiration folder of other artists' work. So again, when I save it, I make sure I have the artist's name on there. So especially if I've been wanting to experiment a lot with abstracty watercolor backgrounds, and then I've been doing the charcoal and some pastel over the top. So realism and abstract sort of combined. And because I'm not a watercolor artist, I've been saving quite a few watercolor styles that I think I could use in my background. So I have a folder for other artists' work, or it just could be the most amazing pastel painting of a lion or something that I want to save because I'm just like, wow, that's amazing. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with being inspired by other artists and taking little bits and pieces. This is how you come up with your own style, is by finding and experimenting different ways. I mean, some of the best atelier programs to learn to paint, they spend years repainting old masters' work to learn those techniques. So there's nothing wrong with that in any way, and that's how we get inspired. And then you'll eventually like take little bits and pieces from those artists and put it into your own work and create your style. But I'm getting off on a tangent as usual. So anyway, we've got an inspiration folder now. You could even put quotes you love, things like that. There might be a quote that might kickstart you into to getting like started with your art. Even an ideas jar. You know, if you really have no idea what you want to paint, because half the battle is what to paint. You know, when you've got this canvas or a new bit of paper and you're like, what am I going to even paint? So an ideas jar where you could just have a heap of little ideas in, you know, throughout your week, you might think of different things that you'd like to paint. So you could jot it down, throw it in that ideas jar, and then when you finally get to your creative time, you can just grab one and go with that. So and also quotes, maybe some sketches. You might do some thumbnail sketches of ideas as well. If you can come up with all different things. I've got a million things I want to paint. So for me, I don't have a problem with what to paint. But that's because I've spent years collecting reference images and other artists' work, and then I take a lot of photos myself. And then I also have a brain dump sheet where, you know, when you're driving in the car or something, that's when I feel like you do your best thinking. I might have an idea for a series of paintings or something. So I have all that written down. So when I get the time, I can get started on that. So I'll just read these comments again. Hi from Scotland, Mandy. And Odette said she follows a few photographers and asks for their permission to draw the images. Yeah, definitely. And the other thing, I think what I'm talking about here is, like I said, for those artists without deadlines and you're trying to come up with ways to motivate yourself. But those, this relates to artists of any level. You need to give yourself like space, essentially. as well, because if you're busy all the time meeting deadlines, you're not going to be creative. Your own creativity won't come out. So say if you're a pet portrait artist and you had commission after commission after commission, you're producing a lot of work and your technique and skill would be improving, but your creativity is not, because you're limited to what you're painting. And you need to give yourself that freedom and space of not having a deadline and not being told what to paint, I suppose, that you can just branch out and start experimenting and playing and getting really creative. I know my job, I was a sign writer for 27 years, I think, and everyone thought, oh, what a cool job. And it was a great job. And I always wanted a job to do with art. And that's what I became, was a sign writer. But I was in the period that we didn't use paint or brushes. It was all computer. I started when computer and vinyl signs came in. So I had to learn computer and not learn how to use a paintbrush. And it was very stifling because it wasn't creative at all. So that's why I used to do art just at home for my own pleasure, because being a sign writer, your customer usually already has their logo designed. They know what text they want. You're pretty much just taking what they've given you and putting it on a sign. So occasionally we'd get a job come in that someone wanted us to create something, and that was a lot of fun. But but because so there wasn't much creativity in it. So that's what I'm trying to compare it to. If you're doing a job, your art is a job, and you're doing what other people want you to do, then you've got no space to be creative. And as artists, we really need that space to experiment, because it's the only way you're going to get to your own style and really enjoy what you're doing. And that, I think, gives you motivation, because when you're painting to make money from commissions and that, sometimes you can get, you lack the motivation because it's not what you love. So for me, with my membership tutorials, it's every month. It's not the same as a commission, because I'm not being told what to paint. I come up with the theme of the month, and I browse all my amazing inspirational photos that I've got in my folders, and I choose what I want to paint. And I also choose the size, whether I want to paint small or large. 9 times out of 10, we paint a lot smaller than I usually paint in the membership. But I'm not stifled in any way, because I can come up with whatever I want. And I also get input from my students, what they want, what themes they might want to do as well. But it's a really important to don't get stuck in just creating what other people want. Like, make sure you give yourself that time to just sit and not do anything. Go and sit outside under a tree and just relax. And that's when all these thoughts will start coming in. Like I said, my best thinking time is sometimes I drive to Brisbane about once a month. Even just driving into the shops is a 45-minute drive for me, but to Brisbane it's like 2.5 hours. So I quite often, I won't turn the radio on, and I'll just think, or I'll listen to an inspirational podcast maybe, and again my ideas start coming and I start to get inspired. And I have a little app on my phone called Boomerang, and I can talk into it and it sends it to my email. So when I do have an idea while I'm driving, while I've given myself that space to be able to think creatively, I can just talk into my phone and it sends it to my email, so I haven't forgotten it. Because I'll have these brilliant ideas, and then the rest of the day goes on, and then by the afternoon I've totally forgotten what my idea was. So I have to, as I said, I need a brain dump. So my little Boomerang app is kind of my brain dump as well. I snuck in while you were that's okay, Andrea. All right, so So you need to inspire yourself on purpose, essentially. So other ways you could do that is by setting little challenges. If you're still struggling with what to paint, like say you could do a challenge that you're only going to paint in blue today. So totally monochromatic. I know Odette's been working on a series of just red. So you could, just pick a color and go, all right, I'm going to do this just in blue. Or you could try drawing with your left hand. If you're right-handed, try with your left hand or the other way around. Just some low-pressure things like just, doodling, Zentangle, all that sort of stuff if you really want to try and get inspired a little bit. Because I feel like the minute you sit down and start drawing anything, that's where you can start to be inspired. It's getting your butt in the chair, I suppose, or getting to the easel. Sometimes I find that can be the challenge because we get distracted with a million things to do. So especially cleaning or, sorting things out, all that sort of stuff. And also I think you need to celebrate small wins as well. So make sure if you do a little sketch or something, celebrate it. Give yourself a pat on the back. I don't know how else you can celebrate. You could keep a little, again, a journal or something where you're ticking off. That's how I like to tick things. But also, look back on how far you've come as well. That can be something that keeps you a bit motivated too. Even little art rituals to trigger you into creating. So, you could put your favorite playlist on. You might have a certain apron that you paint with, put that on. You could have a cup of tea, have a nice clean space to work with. So usually I find if I've got a lot of clutter everywhere, it's not very motivational. But again, I can procrastinate by spending too much time cleaning up, ready to draw. So, there's all different things. But everyone's different, so different ways will work for you. So I was going to share my screen actually here. Because I just have a little, hold on, I've just got to figure out how to do this. There we go, share. Is that it? Share. I've put the link in the, I hope you can see this. Let me just see if that works. Hold on, I'm just going to get on here and see. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to figure out if you can see this. I hope you can. I can't go back and check. Yep, you can. All right. I'm trying to get on my phone so I can see. Okay, so you can see this. So it's just a little downloadable booklet that might give you some inspiration. Okay, and the link is in the comments in the chat here. And if you're watching this on YouTube, I will also put the link in the when I turn this into my vlog, and that the recording will be on YouTube as well, and I'll make sure I have the link to this. So some days motivation feels like chasing a squirrel on roller skates. That's normal. This kit is here to give you easy, pressure-free ways to light your creative spark again. No deadline, with no guilt, no deadline, just momentum. Okay, so just a few things in here. So just a few little ideas to, like I was saying before, try a sketch with your non-dominant hand, draw just in one color, sketch something on your desk maybe. redraw a favorite piece you made years ago, or, you know, create a weird animal mashup you can think of. And then we got 5 things to try before you give up today. So these are like, if you're really struggling and you just want to give up, maybe try some of these things. Deadlines can light a fire under us, but they can also suck the joy out of creating. When there's no deadline, inspiration has room to breathe. Here's how you can stay inspired when nobody's timing you. Okay, so there's some more little tips and stuff there as well. A little place you can write down a little goal and a fun thing you want to try. Like I bought a jelly plate, and I really haven't played with it much, but that's something I want to do. And then, like, this can just be how you're feeling on the day. You just colour in the box to suit your mood. Okay, and then a little inspirational quote: when you don't have pressure, you have freedom, and freedom is where your real, authentic art starts to grow. So that's what I was, that's a nicer way to put it, and probably easier to understand than the way I put it. But yeah, so that's just a little download. You don't need to print it out or anything. You might just want to print out some of the quotes in it. Yeah, so it might help. It might help motivate you. But that's, yeah, like I said, if you don't have deadlines, it can be a little bit of a struggle sometimes. And that's what we're trying to figure out here, and give you some ideas of how you can keep that motivation going, even if you don't have that deadline. You could give yourself some deadlines if you feel you really do need that. So birthdays, Christmas, all that sort of stuff. You could, if you have no idea what to create the art for, definitely as a present for someone is always a good one, and that gives you some inspiration. So you don't need to be an artist to trying to sell your work or anything. This is more for those that aren't interested in that, and they just want to keep creating, but just need more inspiration to be able to do it. So yeah, you could even just give yourself a deadline of, like, I'm going to get this finished by Sunday, you know, things like that. Or you could make it yourself more accountable by telling someone, you know, that you're going to have this finished, or put it on social media, something like that. Sometimes I feel if I tell someone that you're doing something, it kind of gives you that bit of accountability. So yeah, and just work in small chunks, of course. I'm just reading through my notes, making sure I've covered everything. Oh, and definitely, I always find that to stay motivated, you need to find your why. Why are you painting? Why are you making art? Is it because it calms you down? Like, it might be a mental health thing. It might be anxiety. Could just be because you love animals and you want to draw animals till you, like, the end of your life. You just want to draw animals every day. And even if you love drawing animals, but you particularly love drawing eyes, why not do just a series of 10 animal eyes or something? You know, really hone in on what it is you really love, because you might love drawing animals, but maybe you're like, you know, you might have a lot of unfinished work where you've just got the fur to go, because fur can be challenging and fur can take a lot of time. So maybe rather than having all these full paintings of animals that's not motivating you, maybe you can just go, right, I love drawing eyes, or it could be noses maybe, and just do a little series of those. Just get a sketchbook or some scrap bits of paper and do that. Yeah, so really figure out why you love making art. Like, you can even put in the chat, there's one for you. Why do you love making art? Okay. And yeah, I suppose at the end of the day, staying motivated without deadlines is kind of like training a dog. I've got that written here. It takes patience and tiny treats and celebrating small wins. So every time you show up, you know, you'll get better and better, and hopefully you'll get more motivated. So definitely stick with what you love to paint. I'm just checking the comments here. Karen, yeah, I'm a bit like that too. I write things down that I've already done so I can just tick it off. 100%. I love to tick things off. I feel like I've actually done something then. Because yeah, I sometimes because I usually have a lot going on, and sometimes I'll just, if I can't tick things off, I'll feel like I've wasted the day, because sometimes I'll just get sidetracked and then I'm like, what did I even do today? So whereas if I've actually got something to tick off, I know I've got stuff done. But yeah, so don't forget, if you want to download that little book there, just with some little inspiration in it, then yeah, go for it. It's in the chat. If you look further up the top of the chat, you should see I've got it as guide link, and that should take you straight to download. But I will also, when I'll turn this into a blog and everything as usual, and I'll make sure I have the link to that in there as well. All right, guys. Hopefully that if you are struggling, if you don't have deadlines with your art and you're struggling to stay motivated, hopefully some of these ideas might have helped. And next week, I'm actually going to be in Kalgoorlie, so I'll be coming to you from Kalgoorlie, over in Western Australia. So that will be very interesting. And I think we're gonna have a chat about. So I'm going to chat about behind the scenes of an art retreat. So I know some of you guys on here come to the art retreat with me, but I thought we could go a bit behind the scenes, and I can let everyone see what we get up to when we go on an art retreat, because I still have spaces available in August, and there are some available for next year as well in March. So we'll chat all about that next week, live from Kalgoorlie. So if anyone's over that way, I don't think anyone, I'm not sure if I have any members in Cal. I know I have some in WA, but yeah, let me know, because we can meet up. I'm only there for 4 days, but it'll be good fun. Okay, guys. Well, thanks as usual for joining me, and I'll see some of you guys in the membership tomorrow morning. Otherwise, I'll see the rest of you next Tuesday. And have a great week, and hopefully you get motivated and inspired to create something amazing. And also, don't forget to give yourself that space and time and breathing room to be creative. Let your brain sort of explore and think about different paintings and different things like that. So, all right, I will catch you later. Bye.